You have sacramentals in your home, but are they really protecting you? Many Catholics have holy water, crucifixes, or religious medals in their homes. But here's a question no one ever asks. Are these sacramentals actually working? Or could they be nothing more than decorations if used the wrong way? It's a hard truth, but just owning a sacramental doesn't automatically protect you. These sacred objects are not magic charms. They require something more, something that many Catholics overlook. Saint Padre Pio, who battled against spiritual darkness his entire life, knew this well. He didn't just bless himself with holy water. He used it in a way that made demons flee. He didn't just wear a crucifix. He understood its power as a shield against evil. So today, I want to share something that might completely change how you see sacramentals. I'll reveal the 7 essential sacramentals every Catholic should have, but more importantly, I'll show you how to use them with the power and purpose that Padre Pio taught. And here's the real challenge. Most people make a critical mistake when using one of these sacramentals without even realizing it. This one mistake could be the reason why, despite having sacramentals in your home, you still feel anxious, spiritually drained, or surrounded by conflict. If you've ever thought, I have holy objects in my home, but things don't seem to change, this message is for you. Because the truth is, sacramentals only work when used with faith, intention, and the right knowledge. So stay with me until the end, because what you're about to learn could be the missing piece in your spiritual life. And before we begin, I want to invite you to be part of something bigger. Many people watch these messages, but forget to subscribe or like the video, and when that happens, YouTube doesn't recommend it to others who truly need it. If you believe more people should hear this, hit the like button and subscribe now. It's a simple action, but it could help someone who is struggling find the guidance they need. Now, let's dive in, because what I'm about to share might transform your home and your faith forever. But here's what makes this revelation so crucial for our times. We're living in an age where spiritual attacks have become increasingly subtle and sophisticated. The enemy no longer needs to be dramatic. He works through discord, anxiety, depression, and the slow erosion of peace in our homes. Many families are under attack without even realizing it. The signs are there: constant arguments, unexplained illness, persistent nightmares, financial struggles that defy logic, and a heaviness that no amount of positive thinking seems to lift. Before we continue with these powerful revelations, I want to share something special with you. We've created a comprehensive guide called The Spiritual Secrets of Padre Pio. This ebook contains powerful prayers, reflections based on his teachings, and practical advice to strengthen your spirituality. Click the link in the comments to access this transformative resource that will deepen your understanding of spiritual warfare. Now, what makes sacramentals different from ordinary religious objects? The key lies in understanding that these aren't magical items. They're physical channels of divine grace, blessed by the Church's authority. When Padre Pio spoke about sacramentals, he emphasized 3 crucial elements that most people miss. First, these objects must be properly blessed by a priest. This isn't just a formality, it's a crucial step that imbues them with spiritual power through the Church's authority. Second, they must be used with genuine faith and understanding, not as superstitious talismans. And third, this is what most people never realize, they work in conjunction with our spiritual life, not as standalone protections. Think of sacramentals like the spiritual armor described by St. Paul. Just as a soldier wouldn't wear only one piece of armor into battle, we shouldn't rely on just one sacramental for protection. Each serves a unique purpose in our spiritual defense, creating an interwoven shield of divine protection around our homes and families. What you're about to learn are the specific sacramentals that Padre Pio found most powerful in his spiritual battles, and more importantly, how to use them correctly to maximize their protective power. These aren't just ancient traditions, they're vital spiritual tools for modern spiritual warfare. Remember, the enemy's greatest trick isn't in launching obvious attacks, it's in convincing us that we don't need protection in the first place. By the time you finish watching this video, you'll understand exactly why these sacred objects are so crucial for your family's spiritual well-being, and how to use them to create an impenetrable shield of divine protection around your home. Before we dive deep into each sacramental that Padre Pio recommended, it's crucial to understand exactly what we're dealing with. Many Catholics confuse sacramentals with sacraments, and this misunderstanding often leads to their misuse or diminished effectiveness. Let me share something Padre Pio often emphasized. Sacramentals create what he called an invisible shield around our homes and families. But this shield isn't automatic. It requires our active participation and understanding. Think of it like a sophisticated security system. Having the equipment installed isn't enough. You need to know how to arm it, when to activate different features, and how to maintain it. Here's what makes sacramentals uniquely powerful. While sacraments were instituted by Christ himself for our sanctification, sacramentals were given to us by the Church as tools for spiritual protection and growth. They don't work like the sacraments do. They're not about transforming our souls directly. Instead, they create an environment where divine grace can flow more freely into our lives. Padre Pio experienced this reality in dramatic ways. During his most intense spiritual battles, he discovered that properly used sacramentals didn't just offer passive protection, they actively repelled evil forces. He would often tell his spiritual children about nights when demons would physically attack him, and how these attacks would cease the moment he used blessed objects with faith and proper intention. But here's what most people get wrong about sacramentals. They treat them like spiritual good luck charms. This is exactly what the enemy wants because it diminishes their true power. These blessed objects aren't magical amulets. They're channels of grace that require our faith and understanding to work effectively. The invisible shield created by sacramentals works on 3 levels. First, it provides immediate protection against spiritual attacks. Second, it creates an atmosphere that makes it difficult for evil to gain a foothold in our homes. And third, this is crucial, it helps dispose us to receive more grace through the sacraments themselves. Padre Pio emphasized that this shield becomes stronger when multiple sacramentals are used together with understanding and faith. It's like creating layers of spiritual protection around your home. Each sacramental serves a specific purpose, addressing different aspects of our spiritual needs and vulnerabilities. However, there's something vital you need to understand. The effectiveness of this shield depends largely on the state of our souls and our spiritual lives. Sacramentals work most powerfully when we're in a state of grace, regularly receiving the sacraments and living a life of prayer. They're not substitutes for the sacraments. They're complementary tools that enhance our spiritual protection. Think of it this way. If your home were a fortress, the sacraments would be its foundation and walls, while sacramentals would be its defensive weapons and shields. Both are necessary, but they serve different purposes in our spiritual battle. As we move forward to explore each specific sacramental, remember this fundamental truth: the invisible shield they create is real, but its power flows from God through the Church's blessing and our faith. These aren't just symbols, they're tangible instruments of divine protection that, when used properly, can transform our homes into spiritual strongholds. Of all the sacramentals Padre Pio recommended, he considered holy water to be the most fundamental and powerful. And after the sacraments, he would say, holy water is the enemy's greatest fear. This simple yet profound sacramental is our first line of defense in spiritual warfare, and understanding how to use it properly can transform your home's spiritual atmosphere. Why did Padre Pio place such emphasis on holy water? Because he witnessed firsthand its extraordinary power to dispel darkness. During his most intense spiritual battles, he would keep holy water close at hand, using it not just in moments of attack, but as a daily instrument of protection and purification. The power of holy water lies in its simplicity and accessibility. Unlike other sacramentals that require specific blessings or ceremonies, holy water is readily available in every Catholic church. But here's what most people don't realize about this powerful sacramental. Its effectiveness isn't just in the moment of use, but in the lasting protection it provides. Padre Pio taught his spiritual children a specific method for using holy water effectively. First, he emphasized the importance of keeping holy water in every room of your home, not just in one central location, but accessible throughout your living space. He recommended small holy water fonts by each doorway and beside every bed. Here's the proper way to use holy water for maximum spiritual protection. Begin each day by blessing yourself with holy water while making the sign of the cross with true faith and intention. This simple act creates what Padre Pio called a spiritual seal of protection that follows you throughout your day. For your home's protection, establish a routine of blessing key areas, doorways, windows, and corners of rooms. Pay special attention to places where family members gather most often: the dining room, living room, and bedrooms. When blessing these areas, make the sign of the cross with the holy water while saying a short prayer of protection. But perhaps the most powerful use of holy water comes in moments of spiritual disturbance. If you feel an unusual heaviness in your home, sense spiritual opposition, or experience unexplained tension among family members, use holy water immediately. Padre Pio taught that the simple act of sprinkling holy water with faith can dispel negative spiritual influences and restore peace. Here's a practical tip that few people know. Combine the use of holy water with prayer. As you bless your home, pray the short but powerful prayer Padre Pio often used: "By this holy water and by your precious blood, wash away all my sins, O Lord." This combination of sacramental and prayer creates a particularly strong spiritual defense. Remember, holy water isn't just ordinary water. It's been blessed by the Church's authority and carries real spiritual power. But this power is activated by our faith and proper use. Don't treat it as a superstitious ritual, but as a genuine instrument of divine protection that, when used with understanding and devotion, creates a foundation of spiritual safety in your home. After holy water, Padre Pio identified the crucifix as the most powerful sacramental for protecting our homes. The crucifix, he would often say, is not merely a symbol, it is a sign of victory that makes demons tremble. This sacred image of Christ's sacrifice carries extraordinary power when properly understood and reverently displayed in our homes. But let's address something crucial that Padre Pio emphasized. There's a profound difference between treating the crucifix as mere religious decoration and honoring it as a powerful instrument of protection. Many Catholics hang crucifixes in their homes without realizing their true spiritual significance. The power isn't in the object itself, but in what it represents and how we engage with it in faith. Padre Pio provided specific guidance about crucifixes in the home. First, he recommended having a blessed crucifix in every room, not just one central location. The placement is crucial. The crucifix should be visible and positioned where family members can easily focus on it during times of prayer or spiritual distress. Particular attention should be paid to bedrooms, where spiritual battles often intensify during the night. Here's something remarkable that Padre Pio shared from his own experience. During intense spiritual attacks, he would often grasp his crucifix and find immediate relief. He taught that the crucifix serves as both a reminder and a weapon. It reminds us of Christ's victory over evil and serves as a channel of that victorious power in our daily battles. The proper way to use a crucifix for spiritual protection involves more than just hanging it on a wall. Padre Pio recommended these specific practices. First, begin and end each day by making the sign of the cross while looking at the crucifix. Second, in moments of spiritual attack or family tension, Gather the family before the crucifix for prayer. Third, periodically touch and kiss the crucifix while expressing your faith in Christ's victory over evil. But here's what most people don't realize about the crucifix's protective power. It works in conjunction with our daily spiritual life. The more we contemplate Christ's sacrifice and victory while looking at the crucifix, the more powerful its protective presence becomes in our homes. It's not about the size or artistic beauty of the crucifix, it's about the faith and devotion with which we regard it. Let me share a practical tip from Padre Pio's teachings. When blessing your home with holy water, make the sign of the cross before each crucifix while praying, "By your cross and resurrection, protect this home and all who dwell within it." This simple practice combines the power of multiple sacramentals and strengthens your home's spiritual defense. Of all the sacramentals we've discussed, Padre Pio had a special relationship with the Rosary. "The Rosary," he would say, "is my weapon of choice in spiritual warfare." He carried it constantly, often praying dozens of rosaries daily, especially during his most intense spiritual battles. But what made this simple string of beads so powerful in his hands, and how can we unlock its protective power in our homes? The secret lies in understanding that the Rosary isn't just a devotional prayer. It's what Padre Pio called a chain that binds evil. When used with true faith and understanding, it creates a spiritual shield around your home that evil forces find difficult to penetrate. But here's what most people miss. The Rosary's power isn't just in the physical beads or even in the prayers themselves. It's in how we use it as a daily instrument of protection. Padre Pio taught his spiritual children to treat the Rosary as both a defensive and offensive weapon. Defensively, having blessed rosaries placed strategically throughout your home creates points of protection. But offensively, the actual praying of the Rosary builds what he called a fortress of faith around your family. Here's the method Padre Pio recommended for maximizing the Rosary's protective power. First, ensure your Rosary is properly blessed by a priest. Then, establish a daily family Rosary time, even if not everyone participates at first. The consistency of this prayer creates a spiritual rhythm that strengthens your home's protection over time. But there's something crucial about the Rosary that Padre Pio emphasized. Its effectiveness increases when we pray it with attention to the mysteries. Don't just recite the prayers mechanically. As you pray, visualize each mystery, letting its power and meaning sink into your heart. This mindful prayer creates a deeper spiritual shield than rushed or distracted recitation. Here's a practical application that few people know about. In moments of spiritual disturbance in your home, when tensions rise, when fear creeps in, when peace seems distant, hold your Rosary and pray even just one decade with intense focus. Padre Pio would often say that even a single Hail Mary prayed with true faith can drive away darkness. The Rosary also works in powerful conjunction with other sacramentals. Try this method Padre Pio often recommended. While praying the Rosary, move through your home, sprinkling holy water and pausing before each crucifix. This combination of sacramentals creates what he called a triple shield of protection. Remember, the Rosary's power as a sacramental comes from its connection to Our Lady. As Padre Pio taught, when we pray the Rosary, we hand our troubles over to the most powerful Queen of Heaven. This isn't just poetic language. It's a spiritual reality that manifests in tangible protection for our homes and families. When it comes to sacred medals, Padre Pio had very specific recommendations, particularly about the St. Benedict medal and the Miraculous medal. These aren't mere decorations, he would insist. They are shields of spiritual protection, each with its own unique power. But understanding how to use these medals properly makes all the difference in their effectiveness. Let's start with the St. Benedict medal, which Padre Pio considered exceptionally powerful against evil attacks. What makes this medal unique is that it contains an actual exorcism blessing inscribed in its Latin letters. But here's what most people don't realize. The medal's power isn't just in wearing it, it's in understanding and believing in the profound meaning behind each symbol and prayer it contains. Padre Pio recommended placing St. Benedict medals at specific points in your home, near doorways, windows, and in the foundations if possible. He taught that these medals create what he called points of protection, areas where evil forces find it difficult to enter. But the medal must be properly blessed by a priest for this protection to be activated. The miraculous medal was another sacramental that Padre Pio highly valued. Given to St. Catherine Labouré by the Virgin Mary herself, this medal carries extraordinary promises of protection. Padre Pio noted that wearing the miraculous medal creates a special connection to Our Lady's protective mantle. But he emphasized something crucial. The medal should be worn with conscious devotion, not as a thoughtless habit. Here's a practical application that Padre Pio taught. When using sacred medals for home protection, create what he called a circle of grace. Place blessed medals at the four corners of your property or home while praying for Our Lady's protection. This creates a spiritual boundary that helps guard your home against negative influences. But perhaps the most powerful aspect of sacred medals comes from combining their use with other sacramentals. Padre Pio recommended this specific practice. When blessing your home with holy water, touch each sacred medal while making the sign of the cross and saying a short prayer. This combines the protective power of multiple sacramentals, creating a stronger spiritual defense. There's also something unique about the way sacred medals work over time. Unlike some sacramentals that provide immediate protection, medals create what Padre Pio called a cumulative shield. Their protective power grows stronger with faithful use and devotion. The more we honor and respect these sacred objects, the more effective their spiritual protection becomes. Remember, though, Padre Pio's crucial warning: sacred medals are not magical amulets. Their power comes from God, through the Church's blessing and our faith. When we understand this truth and use these medals with proper devotion, they become powerful instruments of divine protection for our homes and families. Now that we understand the power of each sacramental, Padre Pio taught that establishing a daily ritual of protection is crucial. He emphasized that consistency in using these sacred objects creates what he called a rhythm of grace in our homes. Let me share with you the specific daily practices he recommended for maintaining strong spiritual protection. The morning ritual is particularly important. Padre Pio taught that the early hours, especially dawn, are powerful moments for strengthening our spiritual defenses. Begin each day by blessing yourself with holy water while standing before your main crucifix. This simple act, done with faith, establishes what he called the morning seal of protection. Throughout the day, there are what Padre Pio identified as critical moments when our spiritual protection needs reinforcement. These typically occur during times of transition, when leaving or entering the home, before meals, and during moments of family gathering. At these times, he recommended a brief but powerful practice. Touch your sacred medal while making the sign of the cross and offering a short prayer. The evening ritual was something Padre Pio considered essential for peaceful rest. Before bedtime, he recommended walking through your home with holy water, blessing each room while holding your rosary. Pay special attention to bedrooms, where spiritual battles often intensify during the night. This evening, blessing creates what he called a nocturnal shield of protection. But here's something crucial that Padre Pio emphasized about these daily rituals: they should involve the whole family whenever possible. Even if some family members are skeptical, their mere presence during these prayers and blessings allows them to receive protection. He would often say, "The faith of one family member can shield the entire household." For times of spiritual attack or unusual stress, Padre Pio provided a specific emergency ritual. Combine all the sacramentals in a moment of focused prayer. Hold your rosary, stand before a crucifix, use holy water, and touch your sacred medal while praying. This combination creates what he called a fortress moment of intense protection. Remember, these daily rituals aren't about superstition or rigid rules. They're about creating a consistent pattern of spiritual protection that builds and strengthens over time. As Padre Pio taught, it's not the complexity of the ritual that matters, but the faith and consistency with which it's performed. As we conclude our journey through Padre Pio's teachings on sacramentals, let's seal this knowledge with understanding and action. Everything we've learned about these powerful instruments of protection comes together in what Padre Pio called the final seal, the way we commit to using these sacred objects in our daily lives. Remember how we began, speaking about the invisible shield that protects Catholic homes. Now you understand that this protection isn't automatic. It's built through the faithful use of sacramentals, each serving its unique purpose in our spiritual defense. Holy water cleanses and purifies. The crucifix stands as our victory sign. The rosary binds us to Our Lady's protection, and sacred medals create points of grace throughout our homes. But Padre Pio left us with one final, crucial teaching about sacramentals. Their power grows when we share this knowledge with others. He would often say, when you help another soul understand these spiritual weapons, you strengthen your own protection. This is why I'm asking you now to share this message with others who might need this protection for their homes. Here are the immediate steps Padre Pio recommended for starting your journey with sacramentals. First, gather all your sacramentals and have them properly blessed by a priest. If you don't have all of them yet, start with what you have. Even a single blessed crucifix can begin your home's transformation. Second, establish your daily ritual of protection, beginning with the morning blessing using holy water. Remember, consistency matters more than complexity. Third, create your home's points of protection by properly placing your sacramentals, crucifixes in each room, holy water fonts by doorways, sacred medals at strategic points. If these teachings have touched your heart, I invite you to write, "I choose protection," in the comments below. This simple act declares your commitment to creating a spiritually protected home. Before we end, let me share one final prayer that Padre Pio taught for sealing spiritual protection. Place your hand on your sacred medal or rosary and pray with me. Lord, through these blessed sacramentals, establish your protection in my home. Through the intercession of Padre Pio, let these sacred objects become channels of your grace and shields against all evil. Under the mantle of Our Lady and by the power of the cross, seal this protection in my home and family. Amen. Remember, the spiritual shield we've built today through understanding these sacramentals grows stronger with each passing day of faithful use. Let this be the beginning of a new chapter in your spiritual life, where your home becomes truly a sanctuary of divine protection.